Okay.
Okay.
Ah.
Uh-huh.
Alright. So, this will be like towards the end of the week, so like what, day 5, day 6?
Sounds good. Both. No,
Right.
we'll go with 6.
Okay, day 6. So I believe this is either the day before or 2 days before, I think. The meeting that you guys have to basically be like, hey, get back to work and do this simple thing.
Hey, you lazy butts, stop being lazy, bros.
Well, I mean, it's not quite that.
Right.
I mean, if it was Ramin, it would be that. But Ramin's an inconsiderate jack-off asshole, so...
And also
you know.
a kid.
Daisy actually understands that grieving takes time. So anyway...
Right?
Yeah.
Because
so I
she's
was like,
actually grieved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Ramin, who the only grievance he ever had was probably a lost save file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Okay.
you find yourself in the common area patients. Daisy is whenever like you seem to find her, she's either in her office working or she's out in the common area baking something.
Warms his heart
And,
that she does like wonderful baking.
She does. And if you want, I will let you roll either a perception, a wits investigation, or a intelligence crafts to figure out what she's making.
We're gonna do a perception.
Okay.
2.
There's some quite potent spicy smells in the air. Not like
Hot spices, but
not
like
not spice not I was about to say spices.
spices.
Yeah, those spices that are spicy, them spices. No.
Hot tamales.
Yep. Them ones that are hot and tamales. It's fragrant. So
Like cinnamon and other.
yeah, that kind of thing. It's vaguely Christmassy, but like you can't exact in terms of spice usage, but you can't really pinpoint exactly what it is.
Okay.
And she seems to as well be grinding something.
And he'll approach the kitchen area. The part with the sink, like, is this is an open kitchen, or is it not?
It is actually, yes.
So he can see across like that area. So it's
He
more
can,
like an
yes.
island than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he'll just kind of wander over and like peer over. But and
Okay.
he's not being stealthy about it either, so
No,
it's more of a saunter because that's what he does.
that's fair.
Well, howdy, Daisy.
Oh, hiya. How are you?
I'm all right. The rest has been nice. How are you?
I'm doing okay at the moment. I'm just making up a batch of what's the recipe name? It's a spashed biscuit. The name escapes me, but
Can I roll to possibly know? What the fuck
Intelligence.
did I roll?
Uh,
Intelligence craft?
I guess, yeah.
No, he has no idea.
You don't fucking know, Patience. This is out of your league.
I'd help you, but I don't know. It smells very nice.
Well, thank you.
Very fragrant.
Yes, it always helps in dishes involving lots of spice if you start off with the raw spice or stock or whatever, and then toast it in a pan, then grind it yourself. It always makes it taste so much nicer. Speculas, that's the one. They're a Dutch, I believe.
I don't reckon I ever had one, but I'm sure it'll be very nice.
I'm certainly hoping. I'm pushing the boat out a little with the obscurity of the recipe, but here's hoping.
Well, Daisy, any kind of baking you do just makes this place feel like home.
Oh, I'm glad you think so, yeah. It's what I try to do. I know that as much as y'all live here now and work here, it won't ever really replace where y'all come from, but I just want y'all to be comfortable, you know?
I do, and I can't speak for everyone, but I assume that they'll agree that it really does help.
She nods. Well, again, I certainly hope so. Everyone seems to agree, even if they don't actually say so. Toughest nut to crack at the moment is proven to be Jackie, but that may not necessarily be something I can help with. But I'll do what I can.
She is a tough one.
She is.
I don't know, it seems like everything I say just backfires.
People like Jackie need a particular kind of companionship. And we're a little more gentle in our approaches on things, and that might jar her a little. She gets on perfectly fine with Alf, or so I'm told. Which is always progress. And it means that she can have somebody to look up to and rely on.
Yeah, I suppose. I know that she's got a little admirer of her own.
So I've seen and heard.
It's endearing, for sure.
I won't tell where she got the dye. She smiles.
Well, I won't pry. I think it helps her get her mind off of what's going on and other things.
Yeah.
I want to thank you again for everything you're doing now.
Oh. I'm not doing all that much. I'm just treating y'all with basic human decency and a level of compassion and base kindness that should be required of aces, because she sighs like, and the sigh is it speaks to like a long-term annoyance, and it's with whatever she's about to address.
I'm gonna empathy anyways, and I have an idea of where it's going anyways, a certain cough or main cough, but We're gonna empathy anyways. That is 1.
It's whatever she's like fed up about, it's more than one person. I know that, well, you might not know this, but it's not exactly uncommon for people such as yourself and your team to fall into the care of the Guardians against their wishes through sudden encounters with the supernatural. It happens quite frequently. And one thing that never fails to... And she kind of like grimaces a bit. Even though there are hearts in divisions, just like people, not every heart is the same, and not every ace is the same. And a lot of aces, through not necessarily any fault of their own, they end up hard and a little bit too mean for their own good. So when people like yourself turn up, they react with hardness and meanness when a more tender hand is called for. And it irks me when decent folk don't get treated with a base level of respect, you know?
I do. And as much as that kind of compassion is a rare thing to find, even without the whole supernatural thing. I think I was just lucky from where I came from to see a lot more of it, but being part of the force, you hear the same thing. You hear about cops going bad, or people who are seeing too much that they stop remembering to be nice. And I understand, but go ahead.
Oh no, do continue, Jan.
No, please.
I don't mean to.
Roll off.
Jan, please. We're just gonna keep going back and forth in politeness. I interrupted. It's my fault. Do continue.
And I insist that you continue.
She will look at you, Jan. Roll resolve composure.
Oh, I was gonna roll a presence persuasion.
Oh, were you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Roll that.
That's why I said roll off. It's like, okay, here we go.
Oh, roll over. Okay.
Both the resolve composure and the presence persuasion are same dice for me. So whichever one you want to do.
I'll. Seeing as how you were like, oh no, go ahead first. You roll
Okay.
presence persuasion.
Okay. I don't remember how much willpower I had.
It'll be like, it's midweek and it refreshes daily, so.
Right. So pretend is all full, or not full,
Yeah.
but like empty right now.
Yeah.
Pull up my status page. Okay. Oh, I forgot I took so much damage. I have 6 to play with. Using 1. And that is 6 plus 2, 8 plus 3, 11. Oh. My charm cannot battle that which is Daisy.
She closes her eyes and smiles to herself.
Oh my god, did I?
All right. Well, what I mean is, and she like smirks a little. And if you want, you can roll empathy on that.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm gonna willpower too.
Because it passes by quick.
3.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Shit. Hold on. Oh, damn.
Gimme.
That one gets the good roll. Of course it does.
No! I needed that!
It seems like she's amused about something, of course, but you
Of
get
course.
no more than that. Yeah. Gosh darn it! I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh no! It's my fault. I completely interrupted you, and no doubt you may very well have lost your train of thought as well.
It just so happens that I think I did.
Well, what do you know?
Oh, that's alright though. If it comes to you, you let me know.
Oh, I will. And the same offer goes to you, of course. I believe you were talking about something along the lines of the similarities between Cardian and police life.
Oh, right.
In that both can change people due to their different kinds of contact with darker sides of reality.
Yes, that's right. Before I came here, with me being not a constable, winks,
Of course.
I had the duty of checking in on parolees, you know, folks who are almost done with their time and were just, you know, making up for it through civil services or staying home or whatnot.
I understand. Go on.
That wasn't always sunflowers and rainbows either. There was one individual that I don't, and this might be biased, and it maybe it is. I just had a gut feeling is all, and I was personally involved, so there's that too. But with Elise's mother, there was one man who was involved, and he escaped his conviction. Didn't serve the time he ought to have, but it was my job to check in on him, and I did. But I could see that if other individuals had things like that they had to do, and more time to do it, like seeing that kind of corruption, it does a thing. It does.
Wears you down.
Yeah.
She nods.
I can only say that I'm fortunate that that hasn't happened, not yet, and I'm trying not to let it.
She smiles at that. That's very good to hear, Jan. I think if it did, well, it might be a little bit darker, if you don't mind me saying.
Well, Daisy, I have one of the best influences right now to help keep me straight, if you know what I'm saying.
I do. It always helps if you have somebody to look after it. It keeps you focused.
You wanna empathy?
Well, she's
Or
actually,
is she actively
she's-
going around that compliment that he threw her way?
Oh, like she completely misinterpreted. She's
If you want to do like a nose or an empathy, because he's giving her an expression right now that is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me roll a fucking. Oh, of course. Of fucking
No,
course.
she didn't
Of
get it.
course, she notices it after the fact. Jesus.
Okay.
So actually, let's do it like this.
Okay.
She says that, and then she sort of what?
I guess she
and then
like
she
she kind of
continues
looks
with,
at him, and he's kind of like giving her like that like the sparkly eyes. You know what I mean,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, I
kind
know
of
what you mean.
laughter in the eyes, but like it's really kind.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean, but yeah. So along the lines of this, well, I mean, there were times when I would have to focus on Hunter back when I was initially starting out, and I would. It helps to be a parent, and you have a lease at the moment, and you are not about a lease, were you? No. Oh. She 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 smiles and blushes. She is a bit embarrassed.
Help me, I ship them so much.
My goodness, you caught me off guard a little bit.
You're
That's not happened.
very
That's not happened
inspiring.
in a while. Oh. Huh. Thank you. I do appreciate it. I mean, not everything I necessarily do can be as wholesome as what you might see appears to be, but I do what I can, and I delegate accordingly, and I'm glad that it's appreciated. I'm also glad that you stepped your game up. And she smiles and winks, and I need you to roll a res comp.
Oh shit! 1.
So
How much have I been crushed? Or did I actually resist?
not much actually.
Okay.
Not badly. So she winks with the little, but it is a flirtatious ding, and you're like, oh, there's a spark here. Oh boy.
Yep. Little mustache wig. No, I'm kidding.
Instead of an eyebrow wiggle, Patience's mustache wiggles.
Right. There's some slight rosying of the cheeks there. Well, I took your advice to heart, of course.
I'm very glad to see it did. It's lovely to see that you've settled a little more since last we properly spoke anyway. It's just another sign that you have. Roll another perception, Patience, actually.
Willpower. Oop, 1.
It doesn't, like, it still smells of spice, but there's less noise and action now. And you haven't really noticed why.
I'm gonna look towards the stove.
Oh, the stove is like it has a baking tray prepared on it, and like a mixing bowl as well. But there's nothing like out of ordinary on the stove itself. I will
Can you
let
roll?
let you
Would you like
re-roll.
to Okay, I was gonna say, if you want a perception, patience looking over, because you know, like the eye dart.
Oh, okay.
But if you said I can reroll or do another roll, I can.
I will let you reroll this. Yes.
Okay. 3.
She stopped.
Oh, -1. That's 2.
That's okay. You notice anyway. There's less noise because she stopped.
She stopped what?
She's stopped mid bake, mid prep.
I'm interrupting you, aren't I?
Oh no, not at all. To be honest, I appreciate the conversation. People mostly leave me to it when I'm baking, but it does help. And she just roll another empathy.
Willpower. 3. I kind of like envision like the moment where like there was that pause between him noticing her stopping and then just like that silence we had while I was trying to think of what to say was just them like staring in each other's eyes.
Yeah. I'll go with that. As well, what's going on here though is that she seems to have caught herself at your words. Like she's caught off guard at the fact that not only has she stopped, but that you've pointed out she's stopped. And she's a bit like, oh, what up? She, as if to make up for it, she immediately goes back to doing spice related stuff and measuring things out.
Right, and Patience does that little cough, and slightly looks away and looks at his coffee cup that I'm sure he has that's slightly empty. with a slight rosy blush over his face.
Yeah. My goodness, you certainly know how to turn heads, Jan.
I think two's playing at this game. You'll certainly turn in my head.
Roll another empathy.
Dude, I'm fucking smiling over here.
I wouldn't do it so soon, but something so specific, and I kind of have to. Reroll.
Shit.
Oh. There's something lightly off about Daisy, in her comment and ensuing quiet. You can the outward thing is that she enjoyed it, but internally you feel that there's a disconnect, but you aren't sure what it is.
It's like a disquiet.
You aren't sure.
Or okay, I suppose because you didn't quite catch it. I think I was gonna protest. I was wondering.
I like to think.
Go ahead.
I like to think I'm. She sighs, Never mind. You'd like to?
No, please.
Well, I was gonna say.
If you want me to roll.
No, you don't. You don't have to.
Okay.
All I was gonna say is, I hope it's not too much of a game. Now, I believe it's your turn.
I was going to proposition a walk later.
She smiles. And it's it's a smile of surprise, but it's also a smile of appreciation. I'd like that. I'll tell you what. I'll combine the mixtures. I'll get these in the oven, and then they're in for. Oh, and she checks. She checks the recipe.
He waits patiently.
They need to be. This needs to be refrigerated for around about 30 minutes. So, let's say after I've combined these, you and I go on a short stroll, as you so ask.
That would be lovely. As
She
long as
nods.
I'm not bothering you with the walkabout.
Oh no, of course not. It's no bother, Jan. I'd be happy to stretch my legs a little bit. I'd usually waiting time for bakes is usually the most kind of arduous part. Just not really anything happening. You have to kind of fill time, and this would be a welcome change of pace. So I do appreciate it.
Nah, I appreciate you saying yes. Walking with company is always better than walking alone.
Of course.
Patience
And she kind
now.
of trails. She kind of trails off in that, of course, and you can roll another empathy.
3.
Oh, I wanted you to get that one.
Damn, I wanted to get that one too.
There's more going on. Like you don't like get what it is, but you can tell there's more to Daisy than what's outwardly apparent. And it's particularly during this conversation and this line of the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Well, he figures he's seeing more the person that she is than just the heart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And every person is complicated.
Ooh. A good assessment.
Yes.
I'll be with you in about this won't take too long. I shouldn't think. I'll be with you in around about 5 minutes.
All right.
I just gotta combine these mixtures and put them in the refrigerator.
Sounds good. He takes a
All
sip.
right. And she turns back with her ground spices to a different worktop, and true to her word, she combines the mixtures, forms them out into a ball, wraps them in cling film, and puts them in the fridge after working it a bit. And Patience, it seems like a long 5 minutes because you're kind of waiting on her, but before
I was
before
gonna
long.
say his gaze is lingering fondly before he remembers to look away.
Okay. Are you being like actually when you look away, I would like you to roll a oh what would be good for this? I would like you to roll a presence stealth
Oh boy.
uh to hide your looksies.
This is, yep, you're probably catching me in some reflection. Oh my god, I made it.
You did get a one success. Good job.
But you probably saw it.
Yes, she did. Like there's even one point where you lock eyes briefly and
That's probably
um
when he remembers to, oh, I should be looking away and not do
yeah and as you turn away you like you catch her lips forming into a smile.
this. Just a, you know, just.
Mhm. And it's at this point actually I need you to roll a perception at that.
Okay. I have no more willpower, so here we go. I used it all up on Daisy. 1.
Oh, you don't hear anything. Sad face.
Sad.
So yeah, the 5 minutes pass much along the avenue, and before long, she heads back to her office actually first of all, and then she comes out again after like about a minute. Except this time she has like more of an outdoor coat and boots on as well. I hope I haven't kept you waiting too long.
I have all the time in the world. And he'll grab his stuff too, which is pretty much right here, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's wherever you want it to be.
He usually just
After,
deposits
like, you
them where they
come in.
belong.
Fair enough.
Or tosses a coat
Okay.
over a chair or something.
Yeah. Okay. And it's with that you head out a walk-in. Is there anywhere in particular that you're wanting to take her a walk-in, or are you just kind of going to wander?
Kind of a wander. He'll kind of be
Okay.
letting her lead the way, unless she's letting him lead the way, and then it's just kind of weird zigzaggy meander.
Mm. uh, in light of that, then,
Yes.
she like whenever you hang back, you try to hang back. Like she slows her pace.
That works.
and you feel like she's watching you in that time.
Are we hand waving the walk, like that they walk and talk, or?
You can talk. Like if we can have the talk if you want, but like we'll be hand waving like much of the walk, I guess.
Okay, because I think the only thing that would be like the thing that pops up would be his immediate. What are your thoughts on if I smoke? If it's offending, I can refrain.
Well, Normally, I would be advising against it. However, well, we're out in the Antarctic, and it's clear open air. You're outside, so feel free, Jan.
All right. He'll have only taken a few puffs and then put it out, and then to still accommodate her. Get that necessary nicotine and then stow it away.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
She smiles at that, actually.
And he smiles back.
Honestly, Jan, you don't have to deprive yourself on my part.
I think I can live without it for now.
For now, he says.
For now. Can't quite wean myself off of this.
Oh, have you tried?
Couple of times, it never ends well.
Hmm.
Usually ends with me falling right back onto it. Only I gained like, I don't know, a pound or something from suckers.
You fell into the age-old trap of turning to food for solace. To turning the old cravings into a new one.
That about sums up real right. Had to keep that beer belly down to get my drift.
I do get your meaning, Jan, yes. I think it helps that, well, as much as I like bacon, I like eating baked stuff more, and it helps that I have a lot of people to bake for, otherwise I would pile on so much.
But them's good eats, so I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, they're good eats, are they? Alright, okay. I'll mark that one down.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
He looks away all bashful like.
She
circles around me.
I am an ace of hearts, Jan. If there's one thing I can do, it's talk. And it's at that point that she goes to. She moves like closer suddenly, as if to like nudge you, but then she kind of stops, and then sort of catches herself almost, and then like moves away again.
And I didn't even have to perceive that, like I noticed it.
Yeah.
He will. Cause I'm sure he might have been inadvertently leaning, like, in her, towards her, cause friendly and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of. He will try not to acknowledge it. You know what I mean, right? Like he's being courteous. He's being a courteous gentleman.
Yes. Yes, he is.
A courteous, awkward gentleman who is awkward around women once again.
As is the way with Jan Patience.
Yes. At least around certain women that he is inadvertently taking a fancy to. Cough, cough. Try not to acknowledge it. Cough, cough.
Oh, it's fine. Cough, cough.
Cough, cough.
Jan Patience, you wonderful dork of a man. Cough, cough.
Coughing, coughing.
Yes.
All that smoking.
Does he say that in response to like his cough, like his own awkward cough, I guess?
Yes. Smoker's cough.
Well, it ain't very good for you now, is it?
No, I reckon it isn't. He's got like the fucking most like bashful grin ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, they walking.
They did the work, and roll. I will let you roll another empathy actually.
1.
Hold on. She kind of seems more guarded now, and you're not really like sure what she's thinking anymore.
Mm-hmm. Is this near the end of the walk then? Or during it still?
This is like after that short bit.
Okay.
And you kind of like notice it for as long as like you do.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to act on it as you so choose.
I mean, he's not won a prize, so he's not gonna. Gentlemen. So he might try to turn it to a different topic to kind of distract from the awkwardness that is ensuing.
Oh.
Because he's a big nerd ball.
Uh-huh.
I just gotta think of what he's gonna ask. Can't just be like, how's the weather? Oh, it's cold.
Shit's cold, Jan. It's always been cold.
It's fucking cold.
I'm freezing myself. No, I'm kidding.
Oh no! It's a grievance to everyone. I guess just kind of maybe a silence for a bit until he figures out what to talk about. I've been meaning to ask.
She looks at you.
With Hannah at the other base, I guess just how is it for you?
She looks kind of like off, like slightly away from you into the distance, like she's thinking, and then looks forward. It's not too hard. We keep in contact regularly, and he's always on hand to give reports, particularly in terms of how Remain's doing. Honestly, the amount of times he's had to tell me about shenanigans that kid's been up to.
I believe it.
That and she frowns like she's not sure about this next bit. The hard part ain't so much the distance, it's I don't even know if I should be telling you this professional courtesy and whatnot, but she looks at you again. I feel like I can trust you.
We're taking a friendly walk, Daisy.
Of course, of course. It's the fact that we're ultimately colleagues, and he is, as much as I am his boss, he is the psychological and psychiatric voice throughout this division, both north and south. So the fact that he's my son, it complicates things, and it means that if there's something that I need to talk about or that I need addressing, I can't actually go to him because it'd compromise the session, and it would compromise the relationship between patient and treater.
I understand.
Yeah. And it means that I have to outsource, but it also means that I don't often get to have sessions of my own because I have to call in an ace grade or higher, if you'd believe, grade Cardian therapist when my son is right there and he's qualified and I could talk to him, but I can't precisely because he's my son and my therapist and a therapist and my subordinate. It's the distance ain't the problem. The problem is everything else about our professional and personal relationships and how those two are now inextricably linked. Like we can't separate them.
He nods in understanding.
And it, as much as we're trying to make it work, it strains things because I'm good with people, so I can tell that he's, whether he means to or not, analyzing me when he's talking to me and trying to pick and choose the best possible words. And I know that he's both a capable enough heart and a capable enough person, as well as being a capable enough therapist and psychologist, that he understands that ultimately I'm doing the same. And
It's hard talking to him as a son.
She nods. It's why I'm glad that you have Elise back in your life again. I'm glad for you, Jan, because, well, a child that young, they shouldn't be in this life. If she wants to join us, it'll be her decision when she's an adult. Not before then and not under any other circumstances. We'll be keeping an eye on it, certainly, but...
I'm just thankful that... Well, that we found her, of course, but,
Yes.
that even though she's still in the vicinity that she was provided, well, I guess one of the perfect people to watch over her from what I've seen of Derek. He's one of them kind souls that you wouldn't expect.
Derek Swan is... He certainly is a surprise. He as predictable as he might be at times. You think he's played out. You think that you've seen everything from him, and then he turns, and then he does something, and it completely turns yourself upside down all over again because, well, to be honest, initially we were having him look after Elise as kind of a trial for his experience and abilities in that field, but he's proven himself quite well, actually. It's quite surprising in a good way. I'm just, and she puts a hand on your arm, Patience. I'm glad that even though she may not necessarily be the little girl you're thinking about, I'm glad for you that she's safe. It's rare that we it's not a she keeps like she stop starts kind of like that Patience, and
Yep.
you can tell this part is like a bit personally difficult for her, but you aren't sure why.
How can I not be glad? It's more than I could have expected, and yeah.
She nods. Roll an empathy.
Three.
+2.
4.
There was something there, like a lot along that like conversation, and there was something in her eyes in response to your words, Patience, that you don't think you've seen before from her, but just as soon as you notice it, it's gone. So you don't really have time to process what it is.
Yep. He's also going to be continuing, so that's probably why also. I can be a father to her. I know I can. It's just I don't think anyone's told her yet, and it's. I feel like she already knows about her situation, but I have to figure out how to tell her. You know?
Yeah.
And then there's still Maddie, and I have to. That's just a whole another can of worms I'm trying to figure out. And you can roll empathy, but I do think this is really an empathy thing. It's pretty apparent.
Not. It's pretty apparent, yeah.
Yeah, he started to tear
And he's
up.
not hiding it.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like that hidden distress of not having found her yet or have any lead on it recently. Like, it weighs on him. It weighs a lot on him.
Yes. Her hand on your arm, Patience, will turn to more like a comforting like stroke on your arm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Uh
Aww.
so she begins saying this. I can't imagine how difficult it must be without closure for. And she does kind of like, you know that particular choke
Mm-hmm.
that people do when like they have emotions, and like she stops, and then she starts welling up,
He is.
and then like she does another choke, and she seems surprised, like, but at the same time like she can't stop it. It's like something's come undone, and you're watching it come undone.
He's going to responsibly kind of. He's gonna draw her into a hug. Like it starts with like a hand, like his free hand, like clamping onto her arm, kind of like how she was doing for him.
Mm-hmm.
But like as the other catch kind of hitches,
Yeah.
and he'll draw her close into a hug if she lets him.
She lets you, and she doesn't resist. She doesn't even like necessarily hug you back. Like she's crying, but it's all you can hear is like kind of, you know, that intake of breath that people make when they're crying. It's like
Yep.
and it's that she just keeps doing that.
He's like a protective bear around her right now, but he's also like streaming tears. I'm gonna roll to see whether they're silent tears. Would that be a resolve composure?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Silent tears because he gets where she's coming from, but he's still it's still his ache that he's feeling too. Roll the ugly cry. I think Daisy was the one that missed the ugly cry roll.
Well, it'll be clear what exactly she missed shortly. Can you forgive me, Jan?
I can forgive you.
Can you forgive me for being jealous of you?
Of course.
Because for your little girl, there's still a chance, but not for mine.
Oh, Daisy. You know, kind of like hug tighter.
And she will like lean more fully into you.
You know, just very quiet. You know, Daisy, Daisy.
There was a cult in the town where we're from, 100 out from Gainesville, over in Georgia. There was a cult, and I was looking into it, and Hunter was in high school, and actually, let me get something more appropriate for this, because this is no
some
longer
sad music.
This is no longer appropriate because what we're getting into is Uh,
Is me crying like a baby over on my side right now. That's what we get.
oh no. Oh no, hold on. Let me find the right one. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Yes. Right. Da-da-da.
Oh.
Hunter was in high school, and he had a girlfriend at the time. She was she was a part of it. And initially, as with many cults, the dark side wasn't out in the open, but you could always feel that something was wrong, and we were still looking into it, and kids were going missing. And Hunter's girlfriend, she took him. But he wasn't the only one. She wanted him to join. And she wanted my little girl to join too. But they didn't. So she kept them. She and the cult, she kept them. And there came a day where, God, I searched for him. And I searched and I searched. And I did everything I could. And then when I got there, I found my son choking the body of the woman that he loved because of what she'd done. But that's when I found my baby girl. And she looks at you like determined with like full on like tears streaming patience. There's so long as it's not definite, you still have a chance. Even if it may not seem like it. There's always a chance. Isn't there? Oh God, what am I saying? And she pulls away from you, and sort of like holds herself.
I'm so sorry, Daisy.
She tries in vain to wipe her eyes with her hand. In vain.
Yeah, Patience hasn't even tried to wipe his eyes. He's probably getting like frosties on his mustache from them. I'm trying
And
to be hopeful, but I don't know. God, how long's it been already? It's just like I get the feeling that she's so near, but at other times it's just like deafening silence. And
there's some.
I pray, and of course nothing gets answered because that's how it works. And he just kind of shrugs like defeatedly. Like he has a little bit more to say, but if you want empathy that or
Um. I believe I will. Press
Okay.
comment, please. Oh fuck.
Oh. Did you crit empathy on me?
No, but
Aw.
what did you get?
Okay, this is the resolve composure, right? Just a 1. Did you beat me? Did you beat a 1?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
He, along the whole lines of when he says that he prays to God, it seems like there's more he wants to say that seems more fresh. And then along the lines of him trying to hold out hope. It seems he's lost more of it than he's letting on. Like you see him standing there in the snow, just tears, and this man who's been trying to hold up a happy face for everyone and be the figure for everyone to look up to. He looks deflated. And hearing Daisy's story on top of that just... It hurts him more because he feels like things should have been better for Daisy and for everyone else.
Fair enough. She'll move back a bit closer to you. What we do to cope in the meantime, so long as we do what's best for ourselves and other people, those still around us, then it ain't nothing bad. Even if it might not seem like it's doing anything. If it's getting you up at the end of at the start of the day and keeping you going, then it's doing all the good in the world. Because Lord knows there were days when I was looking for Clara that I just want to shut down.
That's a pretty name.
She was Hunter's twin. She was younger by 34 minutes. And the thought of them together, lost and scared, God knows where. There were days where I just didn't want to get out of bed. But
I would have liked to have met her.
she sniffs and nods. I think she would have. She would have liked. She would have liked Karian's laugh. I think she was always a rebellious girl, but I had the fortune of joining voluntarily. Hunter not so much.
I can imagine.
He'd seen too much. He was too broken that the only people who could care for him and give him a new lease were the people I worked for. Unfortunately, he's grown into the fine young man he is today.
Yes, he has, hasn't he?
He has.
You've done a damn fine job.
She like smiles and looks down. And they're never easy, are they? Even when you want them to be, but at the same time, that's part of the joy, because if it were, well, you feel like times with them wouldn't quite be so rich.
Mm-hmm. That's about right. He starts to actually wipe at his tears now, like
Fair enough.
he's kind of composing himself.
She does
Being
too.
a big old. He just kind of stops there. He just keeps wiping.
She moves closer to you, Patience, and she pulls a handkerchief out of her pocket and she wipes at your eyes and face.
And he lets her.
You're a big old gift, Jan Patience. We need people like you in the world. Ain't enough of you. Keeps the rest of us honest.
I'll try. But you'll keep me honest too.
She laughs at that, but there's no real joy to it.
Mm-hmm. It's when she's like near done with like the padding, like does she still have any tears, or did she pretty much like clean herself up pretty well?
She does a bit.
Like she does still have some?
Like a bit, but not much.
It kind of like you missed the spot and use her handkerchief to kind of dab.
She smiles with more kind of amusement at that. Clumsy me.
Not like this cold is helping any.
No. No, it ain't.
I think I got some icicles in my mustache. He kind of waggles it.
She she reaches up and like laughing a little, she says, "I can see that," and like scriptures the bottom with her fingers. Lethal weapons does things.
Yep. And they're probably a lot closer than they were before, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm. He notices, but he doesn't make any attempt to move back.
No, nor does she. She kind of looks off and away, and then looks down, and then looks at you.
He'll take her hand.
I think that we might need to.
I'm gonna empathy.
You. Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes.
Trying to figure out whether where this I might need to is she saying we should keep walking or
She is a wall.
Yep.
You have no idea. We could.
Yes.
I don't know if we need to be back yet. I don't know if the half hour's up. Lost track of time, silly me. We could
Silly us.
look at us. Couple of older fools. We could head on back now to check. And doesn't complete the sentence.
I suppose we probably should.
She nods.
He still has her hand though.
She is holding it. like when you took it, you noticed that it didn't happen at first, but like the more like you stand there and the more you talk, the more her fingers
Intertwined.
and like position of hand have like intertwined and slowly turned around to where like it's now being held.
Yay.
But I don't want to. I don't want to head on back for nothing. Not by my having such a nice walk.
We could keep walking then.
We could just stay stay out here a little while longer. And she leans into you, not in a hug or anything, but like she leans into you to where like she's not looking at you, and she like places her head on your chest.
Oh.
Roll an empathy. +2 actually.
3.
Reroll.
Oh. 2.
Reroll.
What?
Reroll.
Oh my god, really?
Yes.
4.
She's not looking at you purposefully, Patience. She doesn't want you to see something, and you feel like that something is she is compromised, and she seems to know it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going on is genuine, but she seems torn on it. And in light of that, all of the previous things that she's done make slightly more sense now.
Mm-hmm.
If only by a smaller margin.
Eee. He'll she's not hugging, she's more of just leaning against him.
Mm-hmm. Holding your hand.
Yeah. And he's letting her compose herself, like, and you know, because that's what she's basically doing, right? Or
you aren't sure
kind of,
whether she's composing, whether she's deciding something.
right? He's at ease around her.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll just kind of give her hand a squeeze. I don't think they'll be missing us for a while.
What do you say? I don't think they'll be missing us for a while.
I don't think they'll be missing us for a while.
Roll either a presence or a manipulation persuasion.
Oh my god! That was a presence persuasion.
Mm-hmm. She slowly looks up at you, and she is smiling wider than before, like she's more sure of herself and more sure of what she wants to do.
And he smiles back.
And she looks off back towards base with a playful smile, and then looks back at you with that same playful but determined and thankful smile. I'm sure we can afford to make them wait.
He'll nod to that.
So, would you like to walk or We can do something.
Does this require an empathy?
Well, she's looking up at you, Jan, and she just says, "We can always do something else, other than just walking."
What do you have in mind?
Something along the lines of, and she moves her other hand to take your lapel, and then slowly up places a kiss on your cheek.
Oh.
I was thinking something along the lines of that.
That sounds like a plan.
she smiles and like a snicker laughs a little, blushing.
Oh, he's blushing himself. Just rosy cheeked from like all the crying they had and now the smiling and just the wryness and
Yeah. Patience, you devil.
And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
cause out of character, Jan's room is empty right now.
Oh. Who?
Or he might let her lead the way to wherever.
Well, you are the gentleman, so I will let you make the decision, but, and she, looks at you, like, more firmly, and there's much more of a warmth to her eyes and her smile now. I'm glad we're finally getting to be honest with one another.
I'm enjoying it very much. And he may have like leaned forward to like Eskimo kisses because
small kiss.
Yeah.
Small kiss where?
Yeah. On her nose.
At the last second, she lifts her face upwards so that you are kissing on the lips.
Hey. Genuine kisses.
Mm-hmm.
And fade to black. I don't know.
Sorry, say again.
I said, and fade to black. I don't really know where he suggests.
I mean, if you want to leave it there, we can. Shrug. It's up to you.
I am content with leaving it there and leaving it to speculation.
All right, fair enough. I'm good with leaving it there too.
Ayo. Heck yeah.
Let's do a little like discretion cut on these wholesome southern parents.
Yes, as like they start walking with their hands entwined, and who knows where they're going.
Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Another thought of mine was like, well, there's the hot springs. No one's gonna be there right now.
Oh.
But yeah.
All right.
Such genuine. I love them.
Sorry, say that again.
I said such genuine. I love them.
Yes. It's great.
Sickly sweet southern trash.